Good morning, it's March 1st. This is to my liberal friends. Yesterday I talked about inflation and the economy. Today I want to pivot back to the other major issue that's polling at the high level, which shows voters care about, and that's immigration. Joe Biden finally went to the border. Of course he did. Not go to the hot spot on the border. He went to Brownsville, Texas, where only a handful of immigrants cross the border on any given day. He should have gone to Eagle Pass, where thousands attempt to cross each and every day. But that would not be a good photo op of him standing near the border where the river's filled with immigrants trying to get across. Speaking of photo ops, how many of you watch Biden at the border? He literally cannot walk upright now, and he shuffles like the 81-year-old that he is. While at the border, Biden called on Donald Trump and other Republicans to pass the bill negotiated in the Senate. He said, quote, "The Speaker of the House needs to put the bill on the floor because if he put it on the floor unrestricted, it would pass." The majority of Democrats and Republicans in both houses support this legislation until somebody came along and said, "Don't do that. It will benefit the incumbent." That's a hell of a way to do business in America for such a serious problem. End quote. Well, there's some key words in there. He said, put it on unrestricted. So in doing so, he said Republicans should show some spine and vote for the bill. Of course, he omitted that the House Republicans have passed an immigration bill, H.R. 2, and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer just let it die on the vine. He also failed to mention that the Senate did not follow regular order. It did not come out of the appropriate committee, and when Schumer wanted to bring it to the floor, it would be an up or down vote with no amendments. That's Joe's way, no restrictions. He opted for this strategy for pure political reasons, the same thing Biden accused Republicans of doing, so that vulnerable Democrats would not have to vote on things that could hurt them in elections this November. Why didn't Biden call on Schumer to take up the House bill for at least debate? What should happen is the Senate should develop a bill that goes through the committee process. It's marked up, meaning committee members can offer amendments, then brought to the floor, and senators have the ability to offer amendments in the process. The House bill should be referred to the appropriate Senate committee and go through the process. Just ignoring it because you don't want to give Republicans a win on the issue is not a good thing either. It's now evident that Joe Biden has a major problem with immigration. In the last 2 months, there have been 6 polls on the issue, and the highest number of approval of his handling of the issue was 35%. The average is only 31%. He's ignored the problem at his own political peril, and multiple Democrats are walking away from him on this issue. Biden's problem is that there's a deep split within the Democratic Party on how he should handle the issue. On one side are the progressives, who make up the party's base and want to preserve migrants' rights to come to the border and claim asylum for any reason. They've been influential in the early years of the Biden administration, pushing for and securing rollbacks of all of Donald Trump's border policies. Now he's under pressure from another group of Democrats, swing district members who want to see Biden take immediate action to stop the flow of migrants, including executive actions that progressives have opposed. They include a handful of Hispanic members who are warning that the political consequences will be dire if Biden does not act before November. During his visit to Brownsville today, Biden was accompanied by Congressman Vicente Gonzalez, who represents the area. But Gonzalez is under fire and faced a difficult re-election come November. For that reason, Gonzalez has joined other Democrats in calling for stricter asylum standards. He understands correctly that the vast majority of these migrants are not coming for real asylum, as they've been coached to say, but for economic reasons, and that does not justify crossing the border illegally. But the progressives in Congress have made it clear they would oppose any attempts to change the asylum system by either law or executive order. In reality, most of the progressives want to maintain an open border and will attempt to thwart any attempts to tighten the standards to apply for asylum. A case on point is one in Massachusetts that was in the news. The government put out a request there asking families to help house migrants. This couple signed up, and within 4 hours, a family of 4 arrived at the door. Now, the family is from Chile, and this is not a country that one would be fleeing from persecution. Chile has a stable economy, good health care, and a modern retirement system. I'm not sure how this family arrived and got to Boston, but the cost of caring does not end with the Stokes family taking them in. Their children will have to be placed in schools, and that carries a cost to taxpayers, particularly if they don't speak English. And if they need health care, that cost will be borne by taxpayers. It'd be interesting to see how the Stokes family feels 6 months from now if this family is still living in their home. Will they still want to bear the cost of feeding and clothing them, or will this act to make them feel generous begin to wear them down? I think we need a comprehensive immigration bill and a major change in our policies. And the first step is to place all those crossing the border in detainment, have an immigration judge hold a hearing within 2 weeks, and if they fail to be given asylum, be deported immediately. This will stop the caravans in their tracks if huge numbers of immigrants are being denied asylum and removed. Under the current law, which the Biden administration does not enforce, if you claim asylum and travel through a country where you would be safe from the persecution you claim to be fleeing, then your asylum claim is not valid. And lastly, the White House has a new moniker for these illegal immigrants. We cannot call them illegal or undocumented, but we should refer to them as newcomers. That should place them on all level ground with citizens here illegally. Now, isn't that novel? And isn't that the way we want to do it? This has been To My Liberal Friends. Thanks for listening.